Hello, I'm Scott McDonald, and this video is for the final paper in Project Evaluation and Performance. This paper is about monitoring and evaluation plans for projects. The project I'm talking about is at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government. The facilities team at the Harvard Kennedy School of Government was tasked with upgrading the furniture, fixtures, and equipment in one of the main areas on campus. At the same time, the campus was going under a major renovation, adding 101,000 square feet of usable space. That project was a 2-year project that was under the direction of Lee Kennedy Construction Corporation, and between Lee Kennedy and the HKS facilities, there was also a consultant firm. With that project going on, the HKS facilities still had to do their daily tasks, keeping classrooms running, cafeterias running, and doing small projects. One of those small projects was the HKS JFK Forum upgrades. The upgrade of the JFK Forum was mainly aesthetics, changing the paint, the carpet, some lighting, and some ceiling work. That all had to be done in concert with the large project Lee Kennedy was doing. So Lee Kennedy was building the large project, which was called Pavilions Project. The Pavilions Project was unique to any other new building in the area. It was unique because it was attaching 4 existing buildings with one new one. So no matter where you were in the building, you were affected by the work that was going on. Many times we had to transport people to new locations. We had to close hallways, create new hallways, move cafeterias, take certain classrooms offline. So there was a challenge, not only getting the project done on time, but keeping the population happy at the same time. Now, one of the projects I was involved in was the Forum project. From commencement, which was the end of June, to this week coming up, which is orientation for new students, we had to take the Forum offline. While the Forum was offline, we had to change the carpet, change the paint, and change the ceiling and the furniture. So before this project all started, we had a few meetings for planning and prep. Within that planning and prep, we sat down with the stakeholders. The stakeholders being the finance office, the facilities office, the dean's office, and the HKS Forum office. The Forum office is the most important in a way. They are the ones who book all the space in the Forum. All the speakers, all the events, everything that goes through the Forum goes through the Forum office. The finance office is the one, obviously, who pays the bills and sees the invoices. The dean's office is the one who has the vision of how to incorporate this center of this courtyard, center of our campus, to be a spot for faculty, staff, students, and us, the facilities office. Those are the main key stakeholders in this project. The importance of this project was to keep the old building, the existing building, to keep its history intact, but to also modernize it in a way that it matches the new Pavilions project. There was a fear that the new Pavilions project was complete, the existing buildings would look so old. So here we go. We start this project. We first start by a planning phase, going over everyone's expectations, what they think their expectations are, what we tell them our time and our budget expectations are, and we come to an agreement in between. What they want and what we can do in a certain amount of time forms its own expectations. Once agreed upon, we start planning and prepping. In our planning and prepping phase, we have to get signs written because hallways are closing, pathways are closing. We have to notify about fire alarm testings, fire alarm shutdowns. There's so many things we have to plan and prep for. The scope and expectations in our meetings go hand in hand. The scope of the project is laid out. Within that project, we have to lay expectations of how the scope will play, how long things will take, and what they should expect at certain times. Each stakeholder should have different expectations. The Forum office expects it to be beautiful and ready when they want. The finance office expects us to not go over, no change orders, have bills in on time. The dean's office wants their vision seen, understood, and executed. The facilities office has expectations of keeping their staff happy, focused, and not feeling overworked. By bringing all four groups together and hashing out what is planned will help better set up a way to monitor and evaluate if we're hitting all those points. An important thing to know in the project management is the budget and timeline. If you don't know how much budget you have, and you don't know how much time you have to spend it, you can never hit your target dates or complete on time. So in order to monitor your project, knowing where you stand and how well you're doing, and evaluate your project, how are you doing the things daily, you need to know how much time you have to do those, and how much money you have to spend on those. So our finance department comes in handy in that one, telling us how much money we have to spend. The facilities department realized that the time for this project was tight. And being such an area of high demand and high profile, many sub-teams in the project were created. Those sub-teams ran for office managers up to project managers. The office managers helped the project managers balance the invoices, make sure things were paid, make sure all vendors were showing up on time. The project managers were making sure all the contractors were doing what they're supposed to do at a certain time. Now, both sets of people, office managers and project managers, helped monitor and evaluate the project as it was going on. The office managers didn't get much field time. They stayed in their office. They were able to monitor the bills that were going out, bills that were coming in, and the speed and rate they were getting paid. The project managers in the field were able to monitor how the crews were doing on their tasks, how they were working together. Were they keeping up? The project managers kept an Excel spreadsheet of who's there, who's where, and when they're doing it. They give that Excel spreadsheet to the office managers, who translate that from the spreadsheet into our database, and they put it on a shared drive. We can monitor week to week in our weekly project managers meeting of how the project is going, Both sets of people, the office managers and the project managers, can evaluate how the project's going too. The evaluation can be, on the project side, if benchmarks are being met, if crews are sticking to what they're supposed to do. And in the office, we can evaluate if our schedule is being met. Are our stakeholders notified of how we're doing? That's how the project can be monitored, in the field and in the office. But unless we have weekly meetings with the field managers and the office managers meeting and being transparent and talking to one another, both sides will not fully understand how it's progressing, for the good or for the bad. So during our weekly project managers meeting, we review the current step we are on in the project. We can see against our original forecasted plan if we are on time and on budget. Now, this project was such a compact project, being only from commencement to orientation, that all hands were on deck, so to speak. Every day, most days we had more than one project going on, but every day, everyone in our department was well vested in this project. Now, there were times we had non-union workers and union workers, but we had to wait for one trade to finish to get the other trade in. But with everyone's help and everyone's determination and everyone's same vision of the end product, Facilities was able to work in concert with Lee Kennedy during their pavilions, which the pavilions project was right behind the wall we were working on. We were able to, while monitoring and evaluating, keep on track the project scope and timeline, not missing any days. And, for instance, one day we were missed because carpet was delayed. We had other vendors come in ahead of their schedule to do things to keep up. So we were able to monitor the status of the project, keep an eye on the process and progress, and move contractors around to avoid missing deadlines. So, basically, the project of this scope working with two different vendors, the facilities team and the pavilions team, working to connect two places, the new pavilions and the old forum, to be as one when the job is all done, can only be done with proper communication, transparency so everyone knows what page everyone's on, and complete teamwork. And with all those in place, the project was able to be done. Now, a lot of things we've done over the project, we learned solely from lessons learned from prior projects. What went right, what went wrong. During each week, we talk about the project at its point. And during that week, what happened that was right, what happened that was wrong. And a lot of times, each of those lessons learned carries on to the next project. And it's a continuous it's a continuous cycle of learning from the previous project for future projects. And a lot of the information that we know from prior projects, we learn from talking to other project managers. For instance, this facilities project of the forum, we ran in-house. But just on the other side of the wall at the pavilions project, those project managers have a more vast portfolio of projects. So their lesson learned and our lesson learned together was our knowledge transfer and our knowledge managing. We gave them information, they gave us information, and we worked as one. I'm proud to announce that that project was a success, and in live time, it's opening later this upcoming week. Thank you.